Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So this is the next part about bad dating judgment and why it is key in the fact that females aren't valued. So I've numbered it differently in the page I printed out, but I'm going to kind of just go with the order that I did in the last video. So this is point number 7. Witches are scum that are not valued for a reason. Witchcraft is done almost entirely to uphold the behind-the-scenes occult social orders. While they often pretend to help with revolutions by going after social orders that oppressors have decided to remove as part of the use, confuse, and abuse game that they are playing. Again, some of these social orders, in fact, all the social orders you see in society that are straightforward, are replaceable and expendable for the most part, right? Basically all of them. The ones behind the scenes, right? The super rich, what have you. Those are the ones they care about. So sometimes witches, people in, masonry and other groups, they pretend to kind of be helping the people when they're just working for the governing class the whole time, right? It's why Stalin and Hitler had the problems they had and so on and so forth. Point number 8. When females date oppressors and their allies instead of fighting to the death or shooting them and shooting themselves, etc., males lose respect for them. Now, for the purpose of YouTube, I'm not necessarily recommending that they do that in this video. I'm not necessarily not recommending it. But it's something one must consider to understand why females aren't valued. So when we look at them dating an oppressor, we wonder if they're being coerced. If their families are being held captive or what might be going on, especially if they come from another country, right? And often exotic females are often the most attractive females, what have you. So we then think about what they should be doing. We say, well, if that was me, I'd rather die than do what they say, okay? And you can't let your family being captive determine what you do, right? In a sense, everyone on this planet is captive in the New World Order. Should everyone just do what they say? No. So you don't respect their choice to date an oppressor no matter why they're dating them, basically. Point number 9. When females overstate their worth, for example, arguing that people like Luann from the King of the Hell TV show, who's like Kelly Bundy, right? This is a dumb blonde. And not because she's blonde, but because she's dumb. Okay, so they argue that people like Luann from the King of the Hell TV show are really misunderstood geniuses. And that pisses people off, right? They make it so they lose value in reality, and people basically almost always pick up on it. So let me say this again. I know I said it in a way that's kind of confusing here. When females overstate their worth, for example, arguing that people like Luann from the King of the Hell TV show are really misunderstood geniuses. They make it so they lose value in reality, and people basically almost always pick up on it. So, for example, if, I don't know, let's just say somebody, let's say Oprah. If Oprah had said that Luann is magically a misunderstood genius when she's just a dumb female in the King of the Hell TV show, and they should have some kind of clips from it at least on YouTube stuff if you want to know what I'm talking about, then we would say, hey, Oprah's a fucking, in that case, right? In that case, she's an idiot. You see what I'm saying? And it also doesn't help Luann. And this contributes to the overall problem, right? It's a contributing factor when it comes to the fact that females are not valued basically anywhere on the planet. Basically, except for by me. And I'm mad at them for cheating me out of my right to lead and going along with the New World Order and what have you. Point number 10. When females do not admit that the masses of females are not as smart as the average guy, it makes males hate them more. The domino effect from this is quite serious, as when you know someone cannot handle a task or an important process, and they say they can, and then something goes wrong, it makes you hate them. Countless guys have had many experiences of females letting them down, and just because guys often mess things up too, doesn't mean that they do not see the difference. To make a long story short, females do not do a good job of trying to be like a guy, and they should not try to be like a guy. Also, when they act like the typical female, they are dumb as hell. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Well, shows like the King of the Hell confuse it a little bit. They're basically made by LGBT people, feminists, what have you, where the son of the guy is a dumbass as well. Now there's dumb guys out there. Some guys are dumber than a doorknob. A doorknob, if it had a brain, would be offended that it's being compared to these dumbasses. But that doesn't mean that on average, guys have more kind of intrapersonal and interpersonal intelligence. They understand themselves and others better. They understand the situation better. It has to do with gray matter and white matter in the brain, and the fact that guys do a better job at focused tasks. That's why, they swing a baseball bat better on average. They throw a baseball better on average. Like things like this, right? They fight better. This has to do with a certain genetic qualities, if you will. RNA and DNA, gene expression and their genes in general. Now, if we look at it historically and we try to figure out why this is, it has to do with hunting versus staying at home and cleaning things or just gathering things from the garden or whatever. When your brain is stimulated by hunting, and fighting, it tends to be more effectively used. And over time, it's expressed in the genome. And when guys historically were the main guys calling the shots, it also made it so their brain was stimulated more. Quite often females were less likely to learn how to read and to do things and to take on crafts, and they just learned how to be a housewife. And over many, 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 many generations, this made them less intelligent in some ways. Then the LGBT kind of enlightenment crowd and people before them made a great push, which I don't approve of, mind you, to kind of feminize the school system. As a result, there's more females in higher education than males. To make a long story short, there's a difference between life smarts and book smarts. For example, if a female who got all A's at Harvard was having sex with a kid, doing cocaine, and just acting like an idiot and listening to weird music, you wouldn't say that she's smart. You'd say she's book smart, right? She's not smart. And life intelligence is more important than how book smart you are. You don't want to waste your life being an idiot and just, learning things and then contributing to evil people and their power. You want to actually make sound and wise life decisions. Well, now it's starting to rain, so I'm going to have to cut off here for now. Okay, so I'm just going to try to finish strong here. So the smart thing and the noble thing to do is to tell the truth and to do what is fair. So let's wrap this up with some scriptures from the Bible. I have another, 5 points or so for the next part, and we'll continue from there in the video after that. Proverbs 13:15. Good judgment wins favor, but the way of the unfaithful leads to their destruction. Proverbs 11:22. A beautiful woman who rejects good sense is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. Now keep in mind that the pig was the animal that Jesus chose to cast the demons into when they begged him for mercy. The demons that were called legion. So a beautiful woman who rejects good sense, like the divine order in reality, which I'm the pinnacle of, is like a gold ring. Gold is the symbol for wisdom. It also symbolizes a rebuke, or a ruling. We'll get to that. In a pig's snout. So it's like, God is rebuking that person's genes. God is rebuking that person's way about them, their spirit, their craft. To say, why is this attractive female dumber than hell? Well, who made him that way? The founding fathers are Masons to a large degree. They were governing class people, European governing class lines. They were rich Jews. Token minorities here and there had put their 2 cents in there. Western culture, what have you. So we see all these attractive females historically in American history. They reject good sense, and they're like a gold ring in a pig's snout, and that's part of why females aren't valued. This Proverbs 11:22, I want you to write that down and write down Proverbs 25:11, 11 through 13, and you'll see how these scriptures connect. Like apples of gold in settings of silver is a ruling rightly given. Like apples of gold in settings of silver. So the gold connects to the ruling. And it's rightly given. Like an earring of gold or an ornament of fine gold is the rebuke of a wise judge to a listening ear. The earring of gold, right? That gold ring. The earring of gold or an ornament of fine gold is the rebuke of a wise judge to a listening ear. So that earring that gold earring connects to the rebuke. So a beautiful woman who rejects good sense is like a wise rebuke in a monster's being, in a monster's snout, that's connected to a monster. A beautiful woman who rejects good sense is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. The reason why she's beautiful is because God wants you to see that these monsters do not deserve to be in charge. That's part of why. And there's a lot of messages God is sending to you, to your subconscious mind and otherwise. And there's people in Masonry and other occult groups and alchemical groups that seek to confuse you about this by using the concrete jungle psychology, chemistry, technology, what have you. Like a snow-cooled drink at harvest time is a trustworthy messenger to the one who sends him. He refreshes the spirit of his master. So is a beautiful woman who rejects good sense trustworthy? No. Should you want to yoke yourself to a pig in terms of, in this context? No. Really, and otherwise, but why marry a farm animal, right? But that's, these scriptures are key in why I'm right, as is Proverbs 13:15. Good judgment wins favor, but the way of the unfaithful leads to their destruction. A beautiful woman who rejects good judgment, good sense, sound wisdom, is like a gold ring on its way to destruction. If they obey God through me, the pig will be purged out, and the gold ring would remain, and it will be a gold ring in settings of silver. A ruling rightly given would have occurred. A process that was part of a ruling that was rightly given would have occurred, and she would have the evil purged out of her. But as it stands, everyone who's cheating me out of my right to lead, male and female alike. Again, male and female alike, and I first and foremost blame males because of the amount of power they're exerting and for leading the rebellion. Okay, they are like an abomination, a demon, the pig that the demons were cast into. They are a vessel of evil.